I'm just, what is that's the hey everybody, or hey whoever's on. um Wait, why is it I can't get any closer unless I do this. And I don't want to do that. Okay, I'm gonna give a few more minutes to see if someone comes on. I don't know. I never know if someone's coming on. I don't know. I'm still learning this stuff and how all this mess works. But there are a couple people on. Earlier in the week, um I was watching there's this TV show or this series or whatever that's on Netflix, and it's called The Babysitters Club. Okay. And it's based off these four four or five little girls, middle school aged, and they have the bright idea to start a babysitting club, hence the name. Um, I don't know how I started watching it, but nonetheless, I did. And started look at all the dust bunnies flying around. Anyway, I got distracted. So they were going through middle age school stuff, middle school stuff, typical uh, stuff that kids go through, in middle school. You all know what I'm talking about. And there were some issues with one of the girls. Well, one of the girls is a diabetic, and she did not want her friends to know because apparently she was trying to uphold this image. Um, and her friends just didn't know. She was embarrassed by it because at her previous school, she was made to feel embarrassed. There's another girl who was not the best dresser. She didn't wear all the latest fashions and things like that. And she felt really self conscious about it. She had Her father kept her pigeonholed in this baby position or whatever. Her mom passed away, so he was raising her, and he tried to keep her a little girl for as long as he could. Nonetheless, peer pressure got to her, and she wanted to just branch out a little bit, change her clothing, her hair, and stuff like that. And in watching it, I'm brought back to me in middle school. Um, I didn't have problems with my parents, per se, but the self-esteem thing, the feeling like you're not fitting in. I was never one of the it girls. Um, I didn't dress the best. I didn't, I was always clean, but I didn't wear what they wore. I didn't talk how they talked. I didn't hang with the same people they hung with. And of course, because of that, I'm considered a misfit, or just weird. And I have a lot of scars on my legs, physical scars on my legs and on my arm. Like, see, like I got bit by a dog here, and I think that carried into it right here too. So I was always really, really, really self conscious about what I look like, what my legs look like, what my face, even this, like, where is it? Right here. I got a scar on my chin. I don't know if you can see it. And so there were a lot of things, and the what you saw was coupled with the typical middle school angst, the friend, the peer pressure, the wanting to fit in and stuff like that. Looking back now, I did want to fit in, but I didn't want to do what they did in order to fit in, if that makes sense. I wasn't all about, I wasn't boy crazy. I wasn't none of that. Um, the one thing I am crazy about now and have always been crazy about is singing. So if I could sing in middle school where I live in my area growing up, middle school is seventh and eighth grade. That's it. Elementary was pre-K to six, middle school was seventh and eighth, high school was ninth and tenth. It's different for different areas. Nonetheless, seventh and eighth grade, all through middle school, I sang in the choir, and that was my thing. That was my release. Still is. But I just remember in watching that show on Netflix, I just remember feeling like feeling the inadequacies from middle school. And it's good that I saw that show, um, because I think that it allows me to remember that. It allows me to bring that up and deal with it because it bothered me seeing it, which means I never really processed it. I never really dealt with it then. And my self esteem was low then. And that carried into my adulthood. And so like there were like in the hot months, of course, everybody's wearing shorts and stuff. I never wanted to because of the scars and the bruises on my legs. I just never wanted to. I didn't want to go through the ridicule. Well, eighth grade, last day of school, I wore shorts. I remember this clearly. I wore shorts. Um, we were doing the hall, the hall sweep and cleaning out the lockers and stuff like that. And I had gone to the bathroom, come out of the stall, washing my hands. The it girls were in the bathroom. Oh gosh. So they were in there washing. They weren't washing their hands. They were just standing over by the paper towels, just standing there for whatever reason. I guess hogging the mirrors. So when I went to wash my hands and I went over to get a paper towel, they moved out of the way and I got a paper towel. And one girl, the ringleader, and I won't say her name because she's a friend of mine on Facebook. And she was like, "Oh my God, look at your legs. Oh my God, they are so ugly. What's all that shit on your legs?" And just going in. I mean, they just started laughing. The yakety yaks were just cracking up. Like they were laughing. They were having a good time in my expense. It was just making joke after joke. And I just stood there. I didn't say anything. I didn't cry. I felt emotionless. And when when you feel emotionless, something is about to happen because you just say, just F it, just F it. So I was emotionless. And she was just going on. And for a minute, it sounded like the sound was blocked because all I could feel or hear was me becoming enraged. And I was like, oh my God, if I lash out at this girl, they going to jump me here in the bathroom. But and last day of school, everybody fight. Come on, get a new plan. Anyway, I didn't care. I didn't care. And instead of jumping out or lashing out at her, she just kept going. And when I came to, so to speak, what I heard her say was, "I can't believe you came out the house with your ugly ass legs looking like that." And they were just laughing. And I was just standing there and I looked her dead in her face. And I said, "You don't cover your face when you come out the house in the morning, yet here we are." Her friends turned and started laughing at her. From there, my back got straighter. I got a little taller, and you couldn't tell me a damn thing. Know why? Because at that moment, right then and there, I understood what I needed to do going into high school. I needed to assert myself, assert my hilarity, and let it be known she's a jokester. I'm going to talk about me before you do. You'll never be able to tell my story. Never. Because if you are telling my story, it's wrong. And I've already told the truth. That's how I've seen life from that moment, from the last day of school in eighth grade. I went to a school called Greenbelt Middle School. And from that day on, I decided jokes and making people laugh was going to be my defense mechanism. Um, It's been to my detriment at times. Um, but nonetheless, that's how I cope. Um, I'm learning to cope in other ways. I'm learning to go other avenues and things like that. But watching that TV show really, really, really brought me back to my middle school days. And I realized that that's where it started. That's where my defense mechanism started. That's where my becoming sarcastic for almost every conversation, for almost every situation, and trying to make people laugh, or laughing so much so that I don't cry. That's where that started. And I don't think I ever shared that with my parents, but I dealt with it on my own. I don't know if that's good or bad, because again, that spilled into a lot of my adult relationships, adult friendships, love relationships. And it actually stopped. Well, I'm sorry, even in high school. When I got into high school, like I said, I knew I needed to be the funny girl because I didn't think I had anything else. I never thought I was pretty. Um, Never thought I was attractive. I knew I could sing, but visually is what boys pay attention to visual. And at that age, of course, you want a boy's attention. But what's weird is I always had a boyfriend, but I still never thought of myself as a pretty girl or anything like that. Not that any of my family or friends ever told me I was not pretty, but I don't know that I heard it enough. I don't remember hearing it enough, that it would overshadow what I felt. So that was that. Going into high school, I'm like, okay, because in middle school, my last day of school, I asserted myself. I'm big dog and everything. Watch out for Rachel. And then I knew, okay, I'm going into high school now. Little fish, big pond. Okay. I really have to figure out who I am. And that's what middle school is about, really, figuring out who you are until you get into high school where you fake who you are. Um, and I did okay. Nobody was messing with me in high school. One, because my brother went. My brother was there. He's 2 years ahead of me. So when I got into high school, I was affectionately known as Little Larry because his name is Larry. Little sis or Little Larry. Nobody was messing with me. Not with my brother there. Nobody. But when he graduated, baby, I was the source and the butt of so many jokes, so many freaking jokes. And I let it ride. I didn't care. I didn't care anymore because I got to the point where I know who I am. I knew who I was. And then, coupled with that, I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease. Um, if you don't know about that, I chronicle my journey with Crohn's disease on my page, and there should be, you just go back and check the videos. Um, but with me being diagnosed with Crohn's disease, my weight dropped drastically. Um, I'm guesstimating the weight, but the weight loss I'm not guesstimating. I was probably about 130 pounds, and I went down to like 90 pounds. Um, and I was then affectionately known as the crackhead girl because my weight had dropped so drastically, like in a matter of months. Not, hey, I wonder what's wrong with her. Is she sick? Is she okay? But the crackhead girl. And like I said, a lot of people who made fun of me and stuff, like a lot of my friends on Facebook, and I bring my friends on Facebook up a lot because at some point, one or some of them will see these videos and they will recognize who they were and hopefully do better. Hopefully do better. Um, but they know who I am now. They wouldn't have known my name in high school. Not at all. If so, it was that sick girl, that crackhead girl that was, that was it. And so not having my self-esteem built going into high school that just helped to deteriorate it. And again, like I said, that carried on into my adult relationships, um, my adult years. And it was just, it was crazy. It was crazy. I then learned that I started to feel like whatever relationship I was in, if it was a bad one, it was something I deserved. I started feeling that way. No one ever told me anything like that. I just felt that I got whatever I deserved. So I started staying in relationships that I really didn't deserve, if that makes sense. Um, but it wasn't until my current relationship, my current marriage, that I really started to not only see my beauty, but feel it. And I definitely credit growth, um, my spiritual relationship with God, and my husband, and some true friends. I have true friends who will call me on my BS if needed. And I need that. I don't need yes men in my life. My self esteem right now, compared to what it was then, even a few years ago, even like 10 years ago, is a complete 180. A complete 180. I just wanted to do this video because I had been thinking about it a lot. Like I said, especially when I saw that TV show about the middle school girls and how their self esteem issues started there, and it again it brought me back to how my self esteem issues started there, and I don't know. I know a few people who suffer with depression and self esteem issues and things like that. I'm really good for cheering people on and cheering people up and really being in your corner. And I just want to tell people, although I've never been suicidal, I know a few people who have been. Um, Hang in there. Um, you're better alive than you are, than you know. You're better alive to people than you know. Um, your purpose here is meaningful, you know, and you are definitely needed. You are definitely appreciated. If no one has told you today, I appreciate you. I love you. And I don't know. I hope I didn't get go all over the place with this video. I thought I was supposed to be talking about self-esteem. Did I go somewhere else? I don't know. Regardless, if I did, I appreciate you coming along for the ride with me. I appreciate those who were here for this live. I appreciate those who are going to watch this in a rebroadcast or anything. Um, if there are any topics or anything that you'd like to hear me speak on, please feel free to leave it in the comment section. Um, I love you. Thank you for having your face all up in my face. I totally appreciate you. Stingray 72, I'm out. End.